Objective: Study about human respiratory system, lungs. Lungs are referred to as the organs for respiration. The lungs are located in the thoracic cavity, which is anatomically an airtight chamber bound anteriorly by the neck, posteriorly by the diaphragm, dorsally by the vertebral column, ventrally by the sternum, and laterally by the ribs. The lungs are covered by a double-layered membrane called as the pleura, made up of simple squamous epithelium derived from the mesoderm. The outer pleural membrane, or parietal pleura, is in close contact with the thoracic wall, whereas the inner pleural membrane, or visceral pleura, is in contact with the lung's surface. A narrow cavity called as the pleural cavity is present between the pleural membranes. It is filled with the pleural fluid, which reduces friction on the lung surface. Excess build-up of fluid in this cavity leads to difficulty in breathing. This is known as pleurisy, or pleural effusion disease. Lungs are pinkish at birth and become dark grey in adults due to deposition of carbonaceous materials, smoke, etc. The right lung is larger than the left lung, and it is divided into 3 lobes. These are superior, middle, and inferior lobes. A horizontal fissure separates the superior and middle lobes, whereas an oblique fissure separates the middle and inferior lobes. The left lung is smaller and divided into 2 lobes. These are the superior and inferior lobes, separated by an oblique fissure. The inner surface of the left lung also has a cardiac notch, in which the heart is located. The lungs are solid and spongy. They have no central cavity. Muscles are absent in the wall of the lungs. Hence they lack the power of self-contraction and self-expansion. The location of the lungs in the airtight thoracic chamber ensures that any change in the volume of the thoracic cavity will be reflected as a change in the pulmonary volume. This arrangement is essential for breathing, as the pulmonary volume cannot be altered directly. The alveoli. The alveolus is the structural and functional unit of the lung and the basic unit of gaseous exchange. Approximately 300 million alveoli are present in both the lungs, with a total surface area of 70 to 100 square meters. The wall of the alveoli consists of 2 layers. The outer layer, composed of yellow fibrous connective tissue, and inner layer, composed of simple squamous epithelium of endodermal origin. The inner surface of the alveoli is known as the respiratory surface. The wall of the alveolus is surrounded by a dense network of blood capillaries, which facilitates the exchange of gases between the alveolar air and the blood. Hence, alveolus is called as the miniature lung. The squamous cells forming the inner lining of the alveoli are called as pneumocytes. They are of 2 types, pneumocyte 1 and pneumocyte 2. Pneumocyte 1 are more abundant and involved in the exchange of gases. Pneumocyte 2 are larger in size, and they produce a phospholipid called lecithin, which acts as a surfactant, preventing the collapsing of the alveoli by reducing its surface tension. Lecithin, if absent in some newborns, may be fatal due to collapsing of the lungs. The lungs are located in the thoracic cavity. The thoracic cavity is anatomically an airtight chamber bound anteriorly by the neck, posteriorly by the diaphragm, dorsally by the vertebral column, ventrally by the sternum, and laterally by the ribs. The lungs are solid and spongy. They have no central cavity. The alveolus is the structural and functional unit of the lung and the basic unit of gaseous exchange. Approximately 300 million alveoli are present in both the lungs, with a total surface area of 70 to 100 square meters. The inner surface of the alveoli is known as the respiratory surface.